The call came just after lunch, a bank robbery with a twist no one believed. When I arrived, the parking lot was silent except for the hum of police radios. In the center, a man sat on the asphalt, wrists cuffed, a metal collar locked around his neck. He was calm, too calm, clutching a note like it was a lifeline. The device ticked softly, a metronome of fear. He said he'd been forced, kidnapped, strapped with explosives, sent here to rob the bank. I remember the look in his eyes when he saw the bomb squad trucks still a mile away. Hope and terror, fused together, seconds from breaking. Then the sound, sharp, final. When the smoke cleared, there was no suspect. Just a body, a hole in the ground, and the smell of burnt steel. That's where the story began, and everything sane ended. They called it the pizza bomber case. I called it something else, the most meticulous act of cruelty I'd ever seen. Every detail screamed orchestration, the collar's design, the handwritten instructions, the sequence of scavenger hunt clues leading nowhere. It wasn't chaos, it was theater. I studied his apartment, his coworkers, his delivery route. Nothing fit the profile of a man planning suicide by bomb. He'd delivered a pizza, then vanished into a nightmare. The notes demanded he rob a bank, collect money, follow riddles to find a key to unlock the device. Except the riddles led nowhere. Someone had written them not to save him, but to watch him die trying. In the video footage, he keeps looking around for someone, anyone, as if the puppet master was nearby, watching. I started to believe he was right. The town wanted answers. The FBI wanted a suspect. I just wanted to know why. Every witness lied a little about where they were, who they saw, what they knew. The woman on the hill, she'd heard an argument hours before the delivery call came. Another swore she saw a second car, but her memory shifted each time she spoke. When I finally sat across from the people closest to Wells, I felt the air change. Their fear wasn't of prison, it was of exposure. There were notes, schematics, an ex-lover, and a pattern of manipulation that ran through every name. And beneath it all, one woman, calculating, detached, too clever for her own good. Marjorie Dial Armstrong, a mind that turned control into obsession. And I realized the bomb wasn't meant for money. It was a message signed in steel. The evidence came slow, like ice melting. A man in jail bragged about building the device. Another admitted to knowing the plan, but not the ending. Then came the tape. Hours of rambling from a man named Bill Rothstein, recorded in his own home. He confessed pieces of it, almost proudly. He'd helped design the collar, he said. He'd also stored a corpse in his freezer months earlier, a man killed to keep Marjorie's secrets quiet. The two of them had engineered the perfect human experiment. Send an unwitting pawn into the world, watch how long he lasts. When I played the footage back, I didn't hear confession, I heard control. They didn't care if Wells lived or died. They cared about proving they could orchestrate death and walk away untouched. And for a time, they did. When I confronted Marjorie, she smiled. Not guilt, satisfaction. She talked in circles, about intelligence, about being misunderstood, about how everyone else was a step behind. I let her talk. Every sentence was a confession wrapped in ego. She admitted knowing Rothstein's role, hinted at planning the scavenger hunt, mocked the investigators for missing the point. I didn't argue, I just pressed record. When I stood up, she asked if I believed her. I don't need to, I said. You already did. Her trial was slow, her sentence inevitable. But the real justice wasn't in the verdict, it was in her silence the day the cell door closed. For the first time, the woman who wanted control had none. Years later, I still replay the sound of that explosion, not because I want to, because I can't forget it. Every time I close a case file, I see his eyes, calm, confused, certain that someone, somewhere, could still save him. We called it solved, but it never felt like justice. Too many hands built that bomb, Too many lies kept it ticking. Wells wasn't the criminal. He was the evidence of how far manipulation can go when intelligence turns cold. Now, when I drive past Erie, I don't stop. I don't look at the field where it happened. I just remember one thing. In this job, truth doesn't bring peace. It brings silence. And silence, I've learned, is the sound justice makes when it's done being merciful.